In the middle of her own luxury store, a powerful black woman CEO was publicly accused of stealing a necklace she designed herself. What happened next shook everyone inside, and within minutes, she made a decision that no one saw coming. The morning sun glowed brightly through the glass walls of Carter Jewels, the luxury jewelry store that was known in every corner of the city. Inside, polished marble floors reflected the shine of diamonds and gold as customers admired the sparkling displays. Employees in crisp uniforms hurried from counter to counter, polishing glass cases and arranging pieces for the day's buyers. In the middle of this busy scene, the heavy glass doors opened, and a woman in a perfectly tailored black suit stepped inside. Her presence was calm yet powerful, her walk confident, and her eyes sharp with pride. This was Naomi Carter, the founder and CEO of the very empire everyone was working in. But instead of receiving respectful greetings, whispers started to move through the room. Some staff members exchanged confused glances as if they didn't recognize her at all. Naomi strolled toward the central display case, where one of her most famous diamond necklaces lay under bright lights. She picked it up gently, admiring her own creation, when suddenly a young store manager rushed forward and blocked her hand. "Excuse me, ma'am," he said loudly, his tone sharp. "You cannot just take that. Are you trying to steal it?" For a moment, the store went silent. Customers froze mid-step, eyes widening while staff members turned to see the scene unfolding. Naomi blinked in disbelief, stunned at the accusation. This was her store, her brand, her name carved in silver letters on the wall behind the counter, and yet she was being treated like a common thief? Before she could speak, the manager's voice grew harsher. "Put it down now, or I'll call security." Naomi's jaw tightened, her heart steady, but inside she knew one thing: this insult would not go unanswered. Naomi tried to speak, but the young manager's voice cut through hers, rising louder so everyone could hear. "Security! Someone call security, this woman is trying to steal." His words echoed across the store, and instantly every eye turned toward Naomi. A group of customers gasped, some whispering in shock, others pulling out their phones to record the scene. Naomi stood tall, her hands still resting calmly on the necklace, but the weight of the stairs around her pressed heavily against her chest. Two uniformed security guards appeared quickly, their steps firm yet uncertain. As they looked from the manager to Naomi, "Check her bag." The manager barked, pointing at the black leather purse Naomi carried. The guards hesitated. Something in Naomi's steady eyes made them uneasy, but their duty forced them to obey. Naomi slowly handed over her bag without a word, refusing to let anger show on her face. Around her, a few customers shielded their children, whispering as though a dangerous criminal stood among them. The sting of humiliation was sharp. Here she was, the CEO and founder of this empire, being treated as if her success meant nothing. The staff she employed, the brand she built, and the legacy she had created were all forgotten in a single moment of prejudice and disrespect. Naomi felt heat rise in her chest, but she kept her face cold and unreadable, knowing that anger would only give her accuser more power. Phones kept flashing, voices kept buzzing, and the manager puffed his chest proudly as if he had caught a thief. Naomi knew the truth would soon cut through this madness, but standing there in the center of her own store, accused in public, she felt the bitter wound of betrayal. Just as one of the guards reached for her purse, a voice sliced through the tense silence. "Stop this nonsense immediately." An elderly woman with silver hair and a string of pearls around her neck stepped forward from the crowd. Her tone carried authority, and all eyes turned toward her. She pointed at Naomi with confidence. "Do you all not recognize who she is? That woman standing right there is Naomi Carter, the founder and CEO of Carter Jewels." Gasps rippled through the store as the guards froze, their hands pulling back awkwardly. The manager's face drained of color, his lips parting as he struggled to respond. Naomi, calm as ever, opened her bag herself and placed it gently on the counter for all to see. Inside was nothing but a sleek phone, a notebook, and a pen. No necklace, no evidence of theft. Then, with a deliberate turn, Naomi lifted her hand and pointed toward the large framed portrait hanging proudly on the wall behind the counter. The portrait was unmistakable, her own face, smiling beside the first necklace she had ever designed, immortalized as the official founder of the brand. A wave of murmurs filled the room as customers pieced together the truth, disgusted at how quickly she had been accused. Some lowered their phones, ashamed to have recorded her humiliation. The elderly woman folded her arms, glaring at the trembling manager. "You dared accuse the very woman whose name is carved on your paychecks," she said firmly. Naomi stood in silence, letting the weight of truth sink in. The guards stepped back respectfully, bowing their heads. The manager stuttered, I didn't know, I thought," but his excuses crumbled into the air. The store that once buzzed with judgment now simmered with shame. Every pair of eyes waiting for Naomi's response. The store had gone so quiet that even the soft hum of the lights above seemed loud. Naomi's eyes scanned the room slowly, landing on every staff member who had stood by and allowed her public humiliation to unfold. None had spoken for her, none had tried to stop the false accusation, not even the ones who had worked in her company for years. They avoided her gaze now, shifting uncomfortably, their shame written in the way they hunched their shoulders or stared at the floor. Naomi's voice finally broke the silence, low, steady, and cold. 5 minutes, she said, her words slicing through the air. It took you 5 minutes to strip me of my dignity. 5 minutes to forget the very woman who built this place from nothing. Her heels clicked sharply against the marble as she took a step forward, her presence towering over the trembling staff. "If I, as your CEO, can be treated this way?" "In my own store," she continued, her tone hardening, "then I shudder to think how you treat customers when no one is watching. This brand was not built on diamonds and gold, it was built on trust, respect, and dignity. And you have shattered all of it today." The employees' faces turned pale. Some bit their lips, others wrung their hands nervously. The manager, now sweating, tried to step forward with a plea, but Naomi raised her hand and silenced him with a look sharper than any blade. "I will not allow Carter Jewels to be poisoned by people who have no respect for humanity," she declared. Her words fell heavy in the room, each one a hammer against their guilt. Everyone knew what was coming, but no one dared to speak. Waiting for the storm to unleash its final blow, Naomi's gaze lingered on the staff one last time, her silence heavier than any shouting could have been. Then, in a voice both calm and unyielding, she delivered her judgment. "You're all fired. Every single one of you." Gasps erupted from the staff, and some immediately dropped to their knees, begging for forgiveness. The manager stumbled forward, his face drenched in sweat, stammering, "Please, Miss Carter, I didn't know. It was a mistake. I swear I didn't mean it." But Naomi did not flinch. Respect is not a mistake. Humanity is not a mistake. The moment you chose to believe the worst of me without proof, you revealed who you truly are, she said firmly. Customers stood frozen, watching history unfold before their eyes, some nodding in quiet approval at her strength. Naomi turned away from her employees and faced the room of shocked shoppers. Her tone softened slightly as she spoke to them. "Carter Jewels was built to represent elegance, respect, and dignity. Today I was reminded that these values mean nothing unless they are lived out every single day with every person." She straightened her shoulders, her presence filling the store with authority. "This brand will not be remembered for the sparkle of its diamonds, but for the character of the people behind it, and today that character failed, but it will not fail again." With that, she walked toward the glass doors, her heels echoing against the marble floor. Every eye followed her as she reached the exit, pausing only once to glance back. "Let this be a lesson," she said finally. Her words sharp and unforgettable. A brand can be rebuilt. Trust once broken cannot. And with a final step, Naomi Carter left the store in silence, her dignity intact and her legacy stronger than ever.